We are four friends who love to play Dungeons and Dragons, and we also all happen to be pretty passionate about mixed drinks and different beers and things like that, so we made a podcast. We will begin this episode by introducing ourselves, because I don't want to forget that. So, I am Brandon, the DM of this ragtag bunch. Let's have you introduce yourself first.
Ooh, fancy. I'm Ben. I play Cain.
Ich heiße Landon. I play Celty. I'm Landon. I play Celty.
And I am Colin, and I play Varis.
All right. And our drink for the episode is made by yours truly. For anyone who knows me in my personal life, they know that I am as much of a nerd as I am for fantasy and sci-fi stuff. I might be equally, if not more of a nerd for superheroes and comic books.
I'm literally looking at some very well-wrapped DC comics right now on the shelf.
Yeah. And so I've been playing with some different cocktails that are inspired by some of the world's greatest superheroes. And so tonight I made a cocktail called, I've never had it before. This is the first time I'm making it, so we'll see. It's good. But it's called the Caped Crusader. So it's supposed to be a half ounce of vanilla vodka. I didn't realize I was out of vanilla vodka, so I just put vodka.
Solid.
So it's going to not taste quite right, but that's okay. And then it's a half ounce of coffee liqueur, an ounce of spiced rum, and then you top it off with 2 ounces of root beer.
It smells amazing.
It really does.
It does. So let's give this a whirl. Clink, boys.
I'm going to laugh so hard if this is just terrible.
I know.
That's like alcoholic melted ice cream.
Yeah.
That goes down really easy.
It's good. It's that root beer makes it. Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I like dangerous cocktails.
That is good.
I don't have any comments other than just
Yeah. No, that is an easy
I need to set this down before I
And
drink all
I will
of
say
it.
the main reason I'm making this is the time of our recording. We're recording this on the day of the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Even though this is coming out I think months later, we record it. Surprise, guys! Look behind the curtain. We record way ahead of time because all our schedules can get crazy. So we just record when we can and we just roll with it. Yeah, but this is in honor of that, and I like this a lot.
That's really good.
It's good that everything plays real nice. The spiced rum with the coffee and the root beer.
Yeah, nothing's like overpowering anything. They're all playing very nicely.
I don't even know if it needs to have the vanilla vodka. It might be interesting with it, but
I think the vanilla would definitely fit. It would play nice with the root beer and everything. But
I mean, because you have that in coffee and ice cream and kind of all these kind of warm, nice notes.
I wonder how that would taste with instead of I assume you used A&W, right?
Yeah. It's just I picked it up at the.
I wonder what that would taste like with A&W's cream soda instead of
that might
the
be pretty
root beer.
good. Yeah. Now let's get into the Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys basically threw a party. You guys woke up, threw a party. You guys have begun to try and understand what this prophecy of union is, what your role in it. At the end of the episode, you all found yourselves in returning to the Chamber of the Heralds with Luu'kesh, and basically learning that you all might be the ones that are the chosen heroes of the prophecy of union to lead the battle against Tiamat in the final battle. And the first part of that is what is believed by Luu'kesh and some other scholars of this religion is going and finding these heralds. So you guys are in the Chamber of the Heralds with Luu'kesh. You guys also, if you remember, you found those symbols, the symbols of the heralds on each of your bodies, the symbol that was called to you of the herald that called to you.
Oh yeah, we got inked.
Pretty much. So what would you guys like to do? Oh, and don't forget, you guys also got a message when you woke up. You did, Varis, from Simone saying that your presence is requested for the trial of Oswald Pinkton, the mage in residence who set the gargoyle attack on Port Marr that you guys dealt with back in episode 1 and 2. Episode 1 and 2. What would you guys like to do?
Well, Luu'kesh, it's looking like we're going to have a bit of an errand back in Port Marr, as it were.
Oh, what is that?
Sorry, was it Port Marr, or are we gonna have to go to?
She told you all that you were requested back in Port Marr.
Okay. It's Well, I think we're going to be witnesses for a trial. It's business with the settlements. Hopefully not long, but we have been summoned.
Well, I hope it doesn't distract you from your true calling. You are, after all, seekers of the Heralds now.
We are, and that's where I'm hoping perhaps we can divide and conquer, as it were. There's a great deal of knowledge in the libraries here.
This is true.
I know it seemed like the goblins were going to be some of your first new students.
True, yes.
Maybe we could task them with summaries, something to help us, especially with the books that perhaps not all of us can directly read.
That can be part of their studies. It will be, in fact, them learning in the library. In fact, one of the things that they'll be saying about doing is recopying some of the more delicate texts that have aged with time into new tomes. So perhaps, yes, they can be of aid in that regard. What specifically would you like for them to begin to focus their efforts on?
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the three of us, we have a vague idea of perhaps some of the locations for these heralds that we seek, but I don't know that we have much to go on.
Possibly anything that mentions these locations that might tie back to any of the items that we foresaw in our dreams.
All right. Well, yes, we'll put our efforts towards that. Any information we have about the Kalantari or the Underdark or even the Darklands that we're able to scrounge up, we'll have particular focus there, and as well as the descriptions of the items that you saw.
And
when do you believe that you need to set back for Port Marr? I was hoping to have some time with you all to begin just frankly getting the monastery back up and running.
Varis, how urgent did Simone
She requested as quickly as we could, but there was no deadline, so a few days of urgent tasks to be handled here I don't think would be too out of place.
Plus, we're still technically under the employ of the professor. It wouldn't be a terrible idea to, earn our wages, so to speak, and help him uncover around here.
I know he can be quite a handful.
He is not my favorite person. But I will do what I can to appease him. I'll give him whatever information I am able to, but the work of the monastery comes first.
I think there could be a bit of a symbiotic relationship here, in a way. If you are seeking new students, having someone that knows how to make it from and back could be a useful aid.
That is true. Yes. And I will deny this, but Professor is not a foolish man, even though I do think he's an idiot. The fact that he was able to find this place alone says marvels for his ability at research. So perhaps he can help us. I will, and he kind of pushes up, he goes, I will go speak with him this morning, and, well, back in the days of yore, every Grand Master had an associate archivist who helped with the research and keeping of the library. Perhaps I can offer that, at least for the time being, for him to serve as an interim keeper archivist for the monastery until we get more students ready to take on maybe that task themselves.
Give him plenty of chances to research all the information that's around here.
Indeed.
He is a true lover of knowledge. Although a nice title probably wouldn't hurt his feelings.
Well, I think the title of Grand Archivist is pretty nice.
I agree.
Grand Archivist Professor?
And he pushes himself up off this dais that he's been sitting on. He looks at you all and he goes, I should probably go talk to him now. Please, this chamber is yours now. It belongs to you. It's not much to look at, but maybe it's a place for you all to reflect and plan. It is protected. No outside force can pry their vision in here. And he shuffles out.
That is good to know. Is it just the one entrance, or is there like a cave that goes further?
Roll a perception check.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Celty would probably
8
want to like. Oh, this is our place.
I mean,
so
you guys
kinda
know.
wanna,
Yeah,
like,
you guys just want to look around.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll. Colin, you can re-roll that. You guys can make a decision of whether you want to roll an investigation or a perception check. Your decisions.
All of us?
Yeah, all of you.
All of
Just
us,
I'm going to say like you guys are just told like this chamber is like you guys run this chamber now. This is your place. So you guys, I imagine, we'll take some time just in here, kind of checking it out.
11.
11,
15.
15.
I'd probably stick with perception, and I can re-roll it if you want.
Go
me
ahead
to,
and roll
but-
because I didn't give you the option before.
That's way better. That's a 24.
24. Okay. Celty, you spend some time looking around the dais, thinking maybe there's something to this dais. You don't find anything. Cain, you do find that there are some built-in, like hidden stone shelves where you can like literally like slide part of the stone wall away, and there's just like storage shelves along one end of this chamber.
That's cool.
Varis, you walk along the far wall, so the wall at the far end away from where the entering in here is, and you're just running your hand along it, and your hand stops. You're not even really paying attention to where your hand's running. You're just kind of walking along, looking around, but you feel cut stone, and you look back, and you see right in front of you, etched into the stone, is the symbol of the Brightmoor. Small, no bigger than what's you saw on your chest this morning. Just small there, but it's there.
And it's carved in
Into it, it's like etched out of the cavern wall.
Interesting.
Looking, you see a short ways down from you. You see the symbol of the Eventide, and then to your other side, the symbol of the Devoted, as well. Probably 10 feet away from yours to either side.
No other markings with them, just the 3.
Yeah, just the 3.
Interesting. Well, it seems I can't make much of this. It's more of these symbols, but it's just the 3 etched into this wall.
Do you think it's just kind of dedicated sleeping spaces? Like, hey, set your sleeping bag here.
I suppose it's possible. A dedicated pallet space for each of us. And there's no signs of like anything that like it should press in or
No.
Okay.
I mean, you can look closer now that you know it's there. You can make an investigation check to look more closely at this area if you want to.
Sure.
I was about to say, since
try
he's
and
pointed it out, can I
investigate.
give him a hand with looking around?
Yeah, you can roll that with advantage.
Each
Morris.
of us checking out our space. Gonna look at my new bedroom. I think that was not cocked.
No.
19 for investigation. Thank
Okay.
you for advantage.
You look around the symbol of the Brightmoor, and you just give the symbol a push, and as you're pushing it, a whole 3 foot wide, 7 foot tall section of the wall just presses in with your arm, and then just almost evaporates in front of you and disappears. And there's a stairwell leading down into darkness.
Well, it seems there is a little bit more to be found here. I don't know if that's respective to each of us, or...
I was about to say, I go over and push on my symbol. And
Yeah, the same thing happens.
So you called us over there and like showed us these symbols?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking Celty was still stupidly looking at the dais. Like,
just walking this room. Oh my god.
Okay, sorry. You're fine.
sorry.
Now the question is, are they the exact dimensions of our bodies? Because that's
This
gonna get
hole
real
was
weird.
made for me.
No, it's basically like it's a tall doorway.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Yep,
Should
I'll
we?
press my
Yeah, yours as well. Yours opens as well.
Should
Celty.
we each check our own space, or
Let's
should
go
we stick
together?
Can I see down in it? Like what's?
Yeah, it descends about 30 feet.
Okay.
And then you can see it kind of levels off into a hallway, but based on the angle, you can't see further than that. You'd have to go down.
There's actually a dragon sitting there with his mouth open, waiting for you to
The,
walk through
the
the door.
third one opens and it's just like teeth and a tunnel.
Let's go look at the Brightmoor first.
Yeah, I say we should stick together.
Okay. So you guys want to go down the Brightmoor one?
Yep.
For you, Colin?
Okay.
In case any creatures
accept.
decided to move in.
It descends about 30 feet, levels out to a carved cavern hallway that runs about another 20 feet. And at the end of it, there is a simple wooden door.
I don't trust doors after the last one. Not in this space.
I go and knock on it. Do I go flying?
Nope, just a nice.
You had to touch the handle on the last one, to be fair.
I touch the handle.
It gives it.
Okay.
I thought you were reaching for dice.
That pause was so mean.
Varis, I believe Luu'kesh said that this is ours, and I think this seems to be yours.
We actually have rooms.
We have home.
To be fair, you guys haven't actually opened the door yet.
That's true.
An assumption.
Well, I guess we should.
Okay. I'm taking the sound that
Yeah.
Ben made as the door opening. Cain pulls the door. It pulls towards you. You pull it open. An underground oasis of plants fills a 20 by 20 foot room in front of you, Varis. Off to one side, there's a small desk. There's a bed, but it's a bed made of mosses and wildflowers and other soft plants. Looking around it, though, you do see there's some small animal life in this room as well. There's, in one corner, you see a small squirrel in a tree. What takes your eye the most is a 4-winged hummingbird that comes up to you, in front of you, and then lands on your shoulder for a moment before it goes back off into the foliage.
There it is.
And you all have never, Celty and Cain, you all have never seen a 4-winged hummingbird before.
So it really is real.
Well, I mean, it's a hole in the ground. There's bound to be some weird animals, but I mean, 4 wings. That seems odd.
I forgot. Had Varis mentioned the?
I think it would have
forward-
come up when I was talking to Luu'kesh about
guess
the visions
that's fair,
that I've
gotcha.
had.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So you guys have heard that he's seen a 4-winged hummingbird in these visions and dreams that he's had, but this is the first time that you guys have seen that hummingbird yourself.
It's real.
Varis, have you seen this place before?
I don't think I've seen this exact place, but that I've seen many times now.
I stick out my finger and just see if maybe the hummingbird.
Roll an animal handling check.
Oh yeah. Ooh, that's a solid +0 for a 6.
You hold your finger out. A few moments pass. Nothing happens.
I recover my dignity by just saying, "Yeah, that's a weird tree over there."
All right.
I don't think there's actually a tree, but
There's a few
Okay.
trees in here. Yeah.
totally meant to just point out that thing.
Celty's gonna kind of turn around and walk back to her
To your space.
space. Yeah.
Okay.
Hallway and go down. I'm assuming I see a door.
Yeah. You push.
I knock. Nothing.
Nothing.
All right, I open it. I want to be polite.
Celty, it's as if someone recreated your cabin. In fact, you know that table. The scuff mark along one of the legs where you banged it, bringing it in through the door of your cabin. You know those teas on the shelf along the wall. You recognize this room. This is your home, your cabin.
Is there another, like, am I standing at, like, what would be the front door of my cabin?
Yes. You look through the windows and they shift from sunset views to sunrise views almost on a whim, but it's different locations that you've maybe never seen before.
Okay, so the outside isn't the standard, like, clearing.
No, it
view.
changes every few moments. Just almost on a whimsy.
Did we follow you in?
I think he went off on his own.
I kind of, like, turned around as you were walking in. Once I saw kind of what it was for you, I kind of was curious.
And I'm going
I
to do
didn't
the
say
same.
anything.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same once
I
he's done with,
think
or once she's done with her viewing.
I'm going to start brewing a pot of tea.
Okay, yeah. Do you guys go, once you see that she's no longer with you, you guys want to go to her chamber?
No, I go straight
You
to
go straight
mine.
to
Yeah, I think Varis would just kind of chill in his. Like, I think that's enough for him to be like, okay, this is like, we each get our own true little space. Okay.
Cain, you go down the steps, down the corridor. You have the door in front of you. You open it.
Vigorously, kind of like the opening of Shrek,
Okay.
coming out of the outhouse. Just boom.
You burst in, and while Vars's room was clearly something that has to do with, well,
It's a push, not a pull.
It was definitely a pull on mine.
it was a pull. So it kind of like
Cain's is a push.
swings open. It's a push now. Cain, your room, while Vars's clearly has to do with his attunement to nature, and while you don't understand that entirely, you understand that that room is very much somehow Varis. This room seems at odds with itself.
Okay.
It's a simple, standard room, but the items in here are almost, there's a dichotomy to them. So you'll see on one wall, there is a stuffed animal that you remember from your childhood. You remember holding your childhood. But then on the shelf right next to it is a war axe. You see your bed, and while it's a bed made for an adult-sized dragonborn, the sheets of it are those that you remember from your childhood home. The sheets of a youth. The bright blue colors and gold trim, things that an adult wouldn't necessarily put on their bed. The furniture, while it's scaled to your size, looks like a child's bedroom, but the items in it all across the board are, some of are aggressive, some are childhood innocent, some are toys, some are weapons. It doesn't make sense to you why it would be like this.
In my room, do I see a second bed?
The second you have that thought, a second bed, it's like your eyes pass over, and as they move back, it's there. There's a second bed next to yours.
Oh no. Okay. I as soon as I see that second bed pop up, I close the door and I kind of wedge my axe in the handle.
Okay.
And I just take some time to myself.
All right. Yeah, and you guys, I mean, when are you guys planning on heading back? I mean, because really, it's the day is yours. You guys can do whatever you want. If you guys want to say that you want to stay here for like a week and then head back, you guys can tell me some things you almost like what we did before you guys set out. You guys tell me some things you hope to accomplish, and we kind of play those out, see what happens. But really, the time is yours. I mean, this is your all schedule. It's whatever you guys feel like you have to do.
So, out of a point of curiosity,
Yes, sir.
what is the like actual straight line distance to Port Marr,
As the crow flies.
as it were?
As the pterodactyl flies.
And I know that's probably not necessarily easy.
That is not easy for me to tell you, and I feel like I'm going to say something, and then I'm going to decide it's something different later.
This baffles me.
Let's see here.
I prepared this spell just as a like, sure, maybe this will come up. But I have the spell Animal Messenger,
Nice.
Oh,
That
okay.
it's basically the spell message, but it
With
has
a
it
bird.
it has to go through an animal, and they have to get to their destination within 24 hours.
I'm gonna do some quick math real quick. So when you guys are traveling here, I'm gonna say you guys are moving at like a normal pace.
I think that was about right. I think
Yeah.
we had some days that were fast and some that were stealthy and some that were normal.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah,
So
it should have averaged out.
normal pace. Yeah, some days were faster, some, but at normal pace, you guys. So we'll say it is almost from where you are. And I'll show you guys on the map later where you guys are. But it is going to be 500 miles as the crow flies
Way too far.
back to Port Marr.
That's what I thought.
Because
but
you
I
think
wanted
about it,
to
I
be
mean,
sure.
it was 21 days of travel basically.
Yeah.
Cool. So Celty brewed some Starcrest tea
Okay.
and got 2 extra mugs and went and brought a cup of tea to Varis and Cain.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna hold the hand in with a mug, not necessarily have to have conversation, just let everybody enjoy their space.
Okay. When you go, so you go to Varis, you come back up, you turn to go in, but then you see Cain sitting on the dais. He's not down the hallway. I'm just assuming that's what you would have done immediately.
Wait, hang on, say again.
It's a few minutes after you would have gone into your room.
Yeah, I'm staying in the room, but you said you're coming and knocking.
Yeah, I'm not gonna necessarily go into your space unless you like invite me in,
scratch
kind of thing.
that.
But I probably would have gone to Varis first because he would have been the closest one.
Yeah.
Hand off his mug.
I probably would have said something like, "What? Where did you get tea?"
Oh, my room had some in the cupboard. So you're welcome to come join anytime. It's as far as I can tell, my home, just not outside my home.
That's
My cabin, as it were.
cons-
Yeah, I'm a bit weirded out, but I'm also not going to question a easy source to good tea. So, this is one of my favorites. It's Starcrest. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's quite relaxing and a little invigorating in the mind. But it really does relax the body a bit. But I'm before this gets cold, I'm going to go take a mug to Cain.
Thank you.
So.
All right.
You said you knock on the door.
Yeah. Knock on the door.
Who is it?
It's Celty. I have some tea for you. I can leave it here if you'd just outside the door if you'd prefer.
No, come on in. And I say, small. The axe shrinks and it unbarricades the door.
That's kind of nice.
So I'll just kind of casually look around and go straight to handing.
And you do notice this kind of weird dichotomy, and you do notice that there are 2 beds in the room.
Which I'm currently sitting on one, just holding that stuffed animal.
Yeah.
Is there I forgot, was there a big difference between the style of the bed, or was it just...
They're pretty similar.
Yeah,
pretty similar?
Very similar.
One was blue sheets, and I'll say the other one was green.
Okay.
Are there windows in this?
No.
Okay.
There are no windows in your room.
All right, just wanted to make sure.
Um,
Figured not, but yeah.
Yeah.
and
No,
and
good
Varis's
ask.
was more of like a glen.
A natural glen that just kind of had some like furniture that was like naturally made. Like his bed is just like a raised mound of moss, but you can tell it's a bed and looks crazy comfortable.
Right. But like you couldn't see past a certain point because of the foliage, like dense foliage.
Yeah, you couldn't really see the walls or anything in his room.
Okay.
Ooh. Quick DM question.
Yeah.
Since Cain noticed that as soon as he thought of the second bed popped up. Would he have made the connection that it kind of wills itself into being to an extent?
Sure.
Okay. Come on in, Celty. Take a seat. And as soon as I say that, a seat just kind of slides up.
Like
near the bed.
Okay.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah. Do I notice that it like apparated essentially?
You definitely do. Yeah. Because it's almost like what happened with the bed, where it's like there's no chair there, and you kind of blink, and there's a chair there.
Gotcha. Well, would you like some tea? It's one of my favorites.
That sounds lovely.
You
At the
can
moment.
always pour a little whiskey in if it's
No.
not quite doing it, but
This space requires a clear head.
Okay. And just hand him the mug and sit down and sip my tea and I think each of these spaces is interesting and unique. Mine was, as far as I can tell, an exact copy of my home, although the windows showed shifting sunsets and sunrises, so I don't think it's a portal necessarily, but maybe what we're comfortable with?
I mean, maybe it's just what we want to see. I mean, so yours is your home?
My cottage that, a few hours outside of Port Marr, but as far as I can tell, yes, it down to the scratches and scuffs on the furniture.
I'm assuming that's where you feel happy and safe?
Yeah, as well as any other place, probably the most comfortable for sure.
This is a place I haven't seen in well over a decade. It's a little different, but this is home.
Do you feel comfortable here?
No. It's weird. It's at ease, but also conflict. I mean, I definitely didn't grow up with axes hanging off the walls and things like that. And back home, if you look over here, and I point in between the two beds.
Yeah.
There used to be a window. There was a window here, and it looked out over the fields of all the grain.
Roll me a wisdom saving throw real quick, Cain.
Oh dear.
No. Sorry. Check. Just a wisdom check.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
I was about to be
You're
like,
pushing it too far.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean saving throw.
I was about to say, I'm broken. 15.
The window materializes between the beds.
Oh. And I just kind of go, yeah, like that. And yeah, it shows a view of a bunch of like kind of golden wheat fields, and a few other things along those lines.
That's lovely. I could imagine you spending a lot of time out there.
Every day. It was. I mean, I didn't get used to using tools, sitting idly by, so to speak.
I would bet not.
That was my bed over in the corner, and it's the opposite bed that I'm sitting on.
And whose bed is that?
This was my brother's. And yeah. This is it's peaceful, but it's also a reminder. This place might be telling us to keep in mind what we're working towards and what we're coming from.
Do you think this shows us our pasts?
Possibly. If it does, I hope it doesn't go further than the situation we have before us.
It could just be what's weighing or present on our hearts or our souls. I don't know how these monks have orchestrated this, but it is breathtaking, good or bad.
Yeah. Although, how would your cabin weigh heavily on your soul, though? Not to poke holes in the thought process.
Not that it weighs. It's just it's my space, I guess. It's what I retreat to. Before you and Varis came to Port Marr, that I really did not have much of a social life. I obviously had friends, but no significant relationships in town, so I would essentially go straight home and enjoy my solitude.
There's nothing wrong with solitude, but at the same time, sometimes a little socialization's good for people. I mean, whether accidentally or on purpose, we got you out of your shell. For better or for worse.
Celty smile, like, kind of smirks at that, and so far I think for the better. Thank you.
Good.
I'll pat Cain on the shoulder, and I'll give you some time. I think that might be good for all of us.
Fair. Do you need some company in your cabin?
You're always welcome. I don't extend those invitations to anybody, so you and Varis, though, I think. Yes, you and Varis are always welcome at my home.
I toss the little stuffed animal, which is like kind of like a, at least in my head, is kind of just like a crappy little stitched together, like a little dragonborn.
Yeah.
Kind of, like what I'm envisioning is
like the Raggedy Ann, but not cursed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I just toss it over to you as you're leaving. Just go, you can hold on to that.
I think I know just the spot. Thank you.
And as you look at it, there's a little tag on the back that just says Bashir.
Bashir? Like, okay.
And Celty, as you climb those steps, the doll disappears from your hands.
I'll turn back and say, I don't know that we can take the past with us out of these rooms.
Oh, I've already got the exact same doll still in my hands. I've figured out how this room works.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing with me.
Of course.
I thought you were trying to like clone it, make infinite little.
Ooh, if only. Here, take my axe. Take this fake axe.
Who's going to sell all of this?
Break the economy
so
quickly.
Man. All right, yeah, what would you guys like to do? You guys still haven't decided when you're leaving. I'm not trying to be pushy. I'm just saying you guys haven't had that conversation. But it's totally up to you guys. I mean,
does a week sound good to you guys? It gives us plenty of time to do what we need to do.
Yeah, I think, we have our obligations to the professor. He has hired us. There should be an understanding. I meant to ask this earlier, would Celty be familiar with kind of like the bureaucracy of like the Mysterian Trading Company's court system
proceedings?
Yeah, like all that. Like, are we gonna be like? Is this gonna be as dreaded as jury duty is like in the U.S.?
Roll a. Now make it a history check.
Can I also view on that, because I imagine I've maybe interacted with that on the travels?
No, I don't think you would have had interaction with this system.
That's fair.
Flat 14.
You've never been called as a witness in a case in the Southern Mysterium Trading Company. What you've heard about any kind of legal proceedings, since it is a company, is that they try to be as efficient as possible as to not waste company time on proceedings. What that means exactly, you're not totally sure.
Cool. I'd probably go and talk to the professor about maybe what we might have to do, because, is he necessarily an employee of the company?
He is not. He's one of the few people who's not big. He is wealthy enough to live here without
He's a freelancer. Gotcha.
Pretty much, yeah. A lot of the seekers are.
Okay.
Don't actually work for the company, but they bring back enough knowledge and wealth if they have a successful expedition that the company allows them to be there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Did Varis share that message from Simone with the professor, or just the three of us?
I think we tried to, and he was too hungover.
That's right.
He shut the door on our face before I could get it out.
Yeah.
Yep. That can wait. I'd probably go to Luu'kesh then. And
okay. Well, funny you have it. Luu'kesh is outside. Well, actually, he's just in the entryway of the monastery, in a very heated discussion with Professor Fellows.
Of course he is.
And the professor says, "So you're saying that I would be doing you a favor?" And Luu'kesh is like, "Yes, if that's how you want to look at it, you'll be doing me a favor. Well, I mean, if you put it that way, I suppose I can stick around a little while and help you with the tomes and the books and the record keeping, I suppose. And Luu'kesh just goes, well, thank you so much. That's very generous of you. And the professor just goes, oh, Celty, Luu'kesh here tells me that you all are needing to get back to Port Marr for a case, a trial?
Yes, Varis received a message from Simone about the that antagonistic mage in residency of in Leet. Oswald, I think his name was.
The one who was responsible for the gargoyle attacks, apparently.
Yes, that rapscallion.
Nasty business, that.
Yes.
So I suppose that you all are wanting to break your contract early in return?
We actually, we would like your advice on how you think we should proceed. Have you ever had experience with the court system of the company?
I've been in a few legal disputes. I'm not a man of the law myself. Why?
Well, legal proceedings, I've always found them quite boring and unnecessary at times. How would you proceed in this situation? I mean,
well, if you've been summoned as a witness, you are obligated to appear. If that's what you're asking, you can't.
But we don't want to break our contract with our employer. That would just.
Well, an obligation is an obligation. I mean, you don't want being shifted back to Peturia or somewhere.
No. I think not.
We can. When are you all needing to set out?
I think we discussed a week to get everything in order before we headed back. Would that be enough time for you?
Very well. Well, Luu'kesh here has asked me to stay as his grand archivist for the time being.
Of course, that's his laugh.
And Luu'kesh just lets out this huge, like, even though he doesn't have pupils, like, you see his eyes, you just feel like they're rolling, and he just kind of turns and, like, walks back deeper into the monastery. And I will say, as you guys have been moving about the monastery this morning, and over the next few days, what's happening over the next week, and I'm just saying this now so I don't have to say it later, the goblins and Dodrin, under Luu'kesh's advisement, spend several hours every morning going through, like, physical training in one of the classrooms, and they spend the rest of the day actually beginning to do, like, cleaning and repair work, and you see that they're actually trying to, like, furbish the monastery into what was once its, like, former glory.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
And so you guys can choose to help on that as well. But so as you're walking through, you see some of these goblins are doing some like work, and they're starting to clean up and push brooms and all that. Now it's no longer like a refuge; they're actually trying to make it like a functioning monastery again.
I love that they're trying to do all this with a rust monster with them.
Yeah, man.
Forgot about that.
The antithesis. Antithesis. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, it's a boulder.
Of cleaning up.
But while all this is happening, yeah, so that's what happens. Luu'kesh goes off. And the professor says that he's been asked to stay. So he says, I believe that Dodger and I will be here for at least another month or two. But what I will say in that time is we can strike a deal. I will pay you all through the end of your contract being 7 days from now. You will receive your payment upon that, and in exchange for me not paying you for your return trip, you can take the auxiliary wagon with you.
I think that's a fair arrangement. Grand Archivist. I mean, can you imagine all the tomes relating to this monastery will just have your signature as, edited and supervised by Professor.
And he leans into you and goes, Celty, this has the makings of me being one of the greatest seekers to ever be part of the guild.
I mean, your name will be inscribed upon the times of history.
I will be
tomes
a
of
legend.
history, excuse me.
And he's kind of looking off, like, full of himself. His mustache is, like, fluffed out. He's like, I will be an absolute legend.
I mean, children will I can imagine it now. They'll sit by the fire and tell stories.
Okay, Celty, no need to be patronizing.
There it is.
Well, that seems that we have work to be done. We can, pontificate later.
Certainly, and he actually. So for the next week, the professor is actually spending all of his time starting to go through the books in the library, see what's salvageable, what's just completely ruined. So that's how he's spending this next week that you all are there.
He's archiving.
Pretty much, yeah.
Celty's gonna she's definitely one of those people that if she sees other people working, she doesn't feel comfortable sitting idly by, so she's gonna help clean, and
Absolutely, yeah.
she would probably participate in any kind of like morning stretches or like kind of workouts, just to stay limber, and then she might just meditate a little bit.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Anything else other than beyond that you want to do? You helping them out is definitely a big benefit. I would say, and I don't know what the other two of you want to do, but I'd say just you helping alone. By the end of 7 days, you guys are pretty much those 3 classroom training rooms at the front end of the monastery. Those, they're not refurbished yet, but all like the broken stuff, everything like dust cleaned out, like those 3 rooms are completely cleaned out, ready for like new wood paneling to come in, basically ready for the renovation of those rooms to begin.
Cool.
And that's what their main focus is, because they want to get those training rooms up and running.
I'd probably just want to kind of check in with the professor and Dodrin to make sure everything's kind of in order, make sure they don't need anything else done before we head out. But if everything, I'll wait until kind of towards more important stuff.
Yeah. What about the rest of you guys? What are you guys hoping to do?
Do you want to go first?
You guys can also just chill for a week if you want to. Like, there's no.
If you've got, I've got a couple things, but
Okay.
feel free to go for it.
For the 7 days, I'd like to spend basically my days kind of split. With the daytime helping with refurbishing and archiving, just helping out wherever I can.
Okay.
And if I'm going through the books, I definitely have my glasses on.
Gotcha. All right.
Because they're fixed now.
Yeah, they are. They work now.
Not that helps.
Yeah, that's true.
But and then the nights I'd like to try to spend with Luu'kesh, kind of just learning the ways of the monastery and trying to work on connection to Bahamut.
Roll me an athletics and a religion check.
14 for athletics.
Okay.
7 for religion.
Okay. Through this, this is the most bizarre way you've ever had scripture pounded into you.
Okay.
What happens is Luu'kesh meets you every evening, a little bit after supper, in the chamber of the Heralds, and he has you stand on that dais where once the great diviner floated, and he essentially makes you go through physical exercise moments while he quotes and recites scripture at you, and then tells you to repeat it back to him word for word perfectly. And you all do this for about 3 hours every evening. Through that time, you feel that these movements, while they're not your normal thing that you're used to a barbarian, you feel yourself actually somewhat becoming more comfortable in your own skin as you're moving more deliberately with your fists and your feet. However, that aspect of the reciting back of the texts isn't going too great. You fumble the words, you feel like you get the main ideas, but then he'll like come by with his staff and he'll like thwack you on the back of your thigh and say that like you must recite word for word to follow the way. And so you can do that every evening if you choose. I'll say by the end of it, what it opens up for you as an option is once your wisdom is high enough for you to, it opens up the opportunity for Cain to multi-class into monk at a higher level should he choose it.
Okay.
As a low level, level 1 monk, you still have to keep training and learning, but it would open up that that different way of thinking about combat and self-defense. But you'd have to get your wisdom up because it's too low right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
Alrighty.
And then, Varis, anything else you'd like to do?
So 100% want to read that book that I snagged. The Myth of Brightmoor.
Yeah.
Because that has a whole other meaning to it now.
Yeah.
So definitely going to read that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I have the other 3 books, don't I?
Yes, you do.
All in Draconic, so I literally have no idea what they are.
Yeah.
We can read to you if you bedtime story if you need
Story
to.
time.
Slumber party. Let's all meet in Varis' room.
In that case, I do have one more thing to add after he's done with this thing, if possible.
Okay, so it is written in an older Elven dialect.
Okay.
So it's like reading Old English where you understand words, but it might be a little difficult to put the whole meaning together.
Gotcha.
So as you're reading it for the week, roll me an intelligence check at disadvantage.
Okay. Woo. Oh,
So
God.
violent through the mics.
That's terrible. 4.
4. Oof. You read maybe the first 5 pages about 6 times every night, and you're having a hard time making heads or tails. What you do glean something from it.
Okay.
And it is that Brightmoor is what you believe. You're not certain. You might need confirmation, but you think it might be another term, an older term, an ancient term for the Feywild.
Ooh. Interesting.
But just that's all you can get with that.
Okay.
And even then, you're not totally maybe certain. It's you kind of make that assumptive leap.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I'm gonna hold on to that one for now.
Yeah.
But the other thing I thought of, because you said there's some like mosses and stuff
Yeah.
growing in here.
Yeah.
I don't know mechanically if it's even feasible. But
Okay.
I know I have that druid moss
Oh,
that I'm
yeah.
chilling on.
Yeah.
So is it possible to try and like harvest the spores and make a small little
Like
pocket that
patch
can
for
let
it.
it start to grow? Not like I'm not anticipating it to like take over the whole grove. or
Yeah.
anything,
But to
just-
have some of it growing there that you can
I can
pull
come
from.
back and replenish a little bit. every
Just
now
a
and
reminder,
then.
listeners, Druid Moss is what Varis got at the end of his session 0 as his item. And it is an item, I believe, that when you consume it before you wild shape, this is what if you consume it before you wild shape, it will double the length of your wild shape.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
Wow.
Hold.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. Basically, like currently right now, I believe that you have a 1 hour wild shape, so it would give you 2 hours in your wild shape.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah.
Or
I think that's what
it might tie to. I think it's druid level over 2 rounded down.
Yeah.
So next level will bump up to 2.
2, yeah.
But
So
right now
so
it's
then
1.
it would become 4 at your next level. So it
Yeah.
just doubles
Yeah.
whatever your length is. You can absolutely do that. Roll a nature check.
Cool.
And I'll say you probably don't want to use all of the druid moss you have in that pouch. You want to try to do it
No.
with a small amount, so you still have enough in case it goes. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not trying to like make a huge farm. Just like start the
Start
seed.
off. Okay. Yeah.
God. These rolls. Nature is a 9.
9. You plant. You water. You do everything you think you need to do that you've read in books you need to do to help kind of get these spores going and
I've
getting
read
everything going
all about this.
for this moss. Only time will tell.
Cool. Yeah. We'll I mean, it may be.
I will say to your
months
ben-
before
to,
we're back here.
Yeah, to your benefit, moss is hardy, and it will literally grow anywhere. So
Especially caves.
yeah, so yeah.
The right place.
So you've at least planned it, and yeah, time will tell what happens with that druid moss.
At some point, I think I'm probably going to. I'll approach you. And Cain, yes, I guess that's true. I can't
audio
just
podcast.
visual point. I will approach Cain. I'll bump the mic. No, and there's not really much of an easy way to say this. What color are your people normally?
It varies depending on the family. As you can see, I am blue.
Are most dragonborn blue
No,
or?
some are red. It's mostly red and blue. There's a few others, but
Are there
I don't know why I'm getting an accent.
Are there any silver?
DM, are there any silver?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's silver.
Okay.
There's a few.
Okay. I don't know what it means, but the visions I've had before, there was a silver dragonborn, particularly large one at that. I think. How tall is Cain?
About 7.
Yeah.
7'2".
Oh hell, nah. He was probably just a normal dragonborn then. I don't. honestly, anymore, I don't know where these visions point to. This could be something well before our time. It could be prophecy. I don't know anymore, but I know whatever it is that I'm being called to, your people are tied to it.
Did you get a good look at this dragonborn?
That's a good question. I mean,
No.
in my vision, I don't think
No.
I did. Yeah,
It was a fast
yeah,
flash.
like it was a silver dragonborn with an elven man. Very briefly.
Okay. None of that.
Do you want to share what the one line the Dragonborn said in the vision? I have it here if you want.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was it must be done or something like that.
Yeah, the Dragonborn nods. He'll tell you is the Dragonborn nodded to the elf and just said it must be done.
Would any of that click in anything I might know?
An elf and a Dragonborn being together, outside of some interactions that the Verzen have, not at all.
Okay. Like, not even, like, religious schooling wise?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, up until about, 75 years ago, the Dragonborn thought they're the only sentient, like, they thought that them and Furbolgs and a few other races that live on Ubiquitous were the only creatures inhabiting the world.
And fair for the elves. Well, they didn't think they were the only, but they didn't think Dragonborn were a thing.
Right. I have no idea. Albeit, if you're seeing a Dragonborn and an elf interacting, part of me wants to say that that's definitely not something you would run across commonly in my homelands.
That's what I was afraid of.
I was about to say, because we don't even get ambassadors into Optivus, right?
Nope.
Yeah, so...
None at all.
None. I would probably bring it up to Luu'kesh in some... We've got enough time that I just to see if he has any thoughts from the history that he is aware of.
Okay, let me roll a check for Luu'kesh real quick. I'm doing it secret
roll.
Secrets are no
Secret roll.
Similar to Cain, Luu'kesh will tell you that sounds very odd. It's not like anything he would expect from any Dragonborn or elf to willingly meet each other like one-on-one. Usually if there's like any kind of meeting between especially elves and Dragonborn, there's like a group of them together because they want to like safety in numbers kind of a thing.
Sure.
Because there's some tension there between elves and Dragonborn. So yeah, but beyond that, he's not really certain. He says, like, you say that this is one of your visions?
A vision from before we met. As I said,
Do you know how... Was there any indication of when this might have been?
I have... All I have to go on, truly, I've been told it's a story that is to be found. And it's a story that apparently predates much of what we know today.
Interesting.
There was another, and again, I only get flashes, brief moments, but a woman, a throne, and anger.
I'm not certain, Varis. I'm sorry. Perhaps if you're able to find any of the Kalantari, they might be of some help to you. Just knowing of your tie to the natural world. I'm sorry I cannot give you more.
I still appreciate your aid and guidance.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can. Ben, you want to read one of those books?
Well, actually, yes, but I also wanted to give one of the books over to Celty.
Okay.
Since she was asking about the Prophecy of Union, I believe one of the books was called The Prophecy of Union, and I hand that one specifically over to Celty.
Okay.
And then the one I would like to read, since it pertains to my little mark is the devastation of devoted.
Okay, make an intelligence check at disadvantage, since it is also in an ancient dragonborn dialogue, a draconic dialogue.
Oh, bollocks. You said just straight intelligence?
Yes.
Thanks for the light reading.
If we do math correctly, that would be a 0.
Oh.
Nice.
Cain, you can't get past like the first page. Like you just, it's one of those things where like you find yourself just reading the same sentence over and over, and you just can't make heads or tails of it. You could try again later, but for this week, you just can't make heads or tails of even the first portion of this text.
Forsooth, whereupon the ancient of the eggs.
What?
Is there anything else you guys want to do in this week?
Might as well. I'll crack open the book one night and just start skimming and see if anything.
Okay.
Like,
Intelligence check at disadvantage. I should make it double disadvantage because it's not your native tongue. I'm kidding.
Double disadvantage.
I mean, I do know it, but it's you said just straight intelligence.
Yeah.
9.
This is the shortest of all of them, and you have some difficulty. What you pick up is mainly the broad strokes of what was told to you for the Prophecy of Union. You think that if you spend some more time with it, studying it a little more in depth, you might be able to get more of like the word for word translation of it.
Okay, so I'm getting broken understanding. Gotcha.
Yeah. But a future check could do it for you.
Mm-hmm. Probably one night midweek as Celty, like brews another cup of tea. You said like the windows show different sunsets or sunrises, or it kind of like just shifts between that. Okay. She'd probably go over to the window and almost subconsciously the word Heshrin kind of flashes across her mind.
Yeah.
Anything happen?
You see the view of the sunset you used to see outside of the small apartment you and Maya shared in Heshrin. When you turn around, you see that same apartment. When I say small, it's just that it's not a full scale of a house. But you're there, living room and kitchen combined. And it's more of the general feel of it, because where you would have a door off to your bedroom's just there in the same room as well. It's kind of a morphed combination of that apartment.
Okay. Gotcha. Do I see a book or anything on the table?
There's a scattering of books.
Okay. I'm thinking of a very specific.
I know.
Okay.
If you want to look through them, you can.
I don't think Celty would actually.
Okay.
At this point.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But that journal, you'd have to go look to see if that journal is sitting there.
Okay. Yeah. She'd probably just take a big sip of tea and turn back to the sunset.
Okay. Yeah, and it holds while you think of it.
Okay.
So, morning of your all's, I guess 8th day would be if you spent 7 days here. You all head out of the monastery, and we're going to pick up next time with you all embarking. As you all stand here in the entry to the monastery, you are joined by Luu'kesh, Dodrin, Professor, and Bamba, as they are there to see you all off on your return to Port Marr. And that's where we'll pick up next time. Woo! So thanks everyone for listening. As always, if you liked this, tell your friends, tell your family about it. Give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter at Cantrip Cocktail. And if you enjoyed it, we'd love for you guys to leave us a 5-star review and let us know what you guys think of the podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're able to review podcasts. It helps other people find it, helps us just have a little more visibility on those listings. So that'd be great. And until next time, if you hear the call of the Heralds, follow it.
Nice.